Welcome to my top 5 movies for 2021. It's been a okay year for movies, although there's been some lit movies towards the end there. But starting at number 5, it's actually a two-parter movie, and it's an animated movie. It was actually really good. I enjoyed it. And what's his face? Jensen Ackles got his first time. It might have been his first time playing Batman. And it's called Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2. So it's a two-parter movie, so it's like, I think altogether it's about 3.5 hours or so. But they released it separately, like part 1, and then a month or 2 later, they released part 2. Really dope, really good animation. It's starting off the newer stuff for the animated movie, so the new art style and the new way. So that I think they're kind of doing the rebirth stories, which is comics I haven't read that much. But that's where they're going with those movies. But really dope, really good time. There's other great voice actors in there as well too. I think Naya Rivera was Catwoman. Yeah, but there's other great voice actors in that movie as well too. A very good watch. Number 4 is a Netflix movie, and it's from a goddess, one of the most beautiful women on the world. But that's not what this movie's about. It's called Bruised. It's Halle Berry's directorial debut actually too, and she did an amazing job with this movie. It's a really well shot, beautiful movie, and it's very emotional because like fight movies are always good for me because I if you know, I did Taekwondo, and I always I see, because I know some people don't like how brutal UFC can be, but I always see the beauty in the martial arts. Obviously, I don't like people getting knocked out. I like the movie. I'm just getting in that the score on whatever on the sites was low, but I don't care. I really enjoyed that movie. I think it was really dope. I think it's a good watch, and I think Halle Berry killed it. And what I was saying is, I really like fight movies because I could see the beauty in the martial arts and everything as well too. And it really looked like she was doing a lot of the stunts, right? Because I think also too with this movie, she broke her ribs and they kept going or took a little bit of a break. But she was and it always looks better when they have the person. I know that always can't be the case because obviously if the actor gets hurt then you're stuck. But it looks like she did most of her stunts, and she's 52 or whatever doing these movies, and it was insane stuff. I really enjoyed the movie. I don't care what the score was for whatever. I enjoyed it. It's my number 4. It's a really dope movie. It's a real nice story as well too. It's not it's not something you haven't seen before, but it's always fight movies. Training montages are always dope. So number 3 is The Suicide Squad, and this is a soft reboot of the movie we don't talk about that I had to see twice, unfortunately. My dad and bro wanted to see it when we went to see it the second time. We went to the drive-in at the docks, and they both fell asleep, leaving me to watch this. I didn't even watch it again. I stared at the docks until the movie was over, because the first one is abysmal. It is abysmal, and it has an Oscar. And again, this is why we don't listen to these award shows, because it's all bull. And it's another circle jerk. Again, I talked about the Grammys in the last one and the Oscars in this one. This movie, The Suicide Squad, James Gunn, who directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so the first 2 movies, and he's doing 3 as well too, did an amazing job. Turned it all around. The Suicide Squad is a comic that I haven't actually read that much. So I know of them, or knew of them before the movies and everything, but I didn't know certain characters that he had in this movie. I had no idea that were real. So the weasel looking dude, I was just who is this? But it's a really, really, really dope movie. Idris Elba was amazing in it. Everybody was amazing in it. Margot Robbie, again, as Harley Quinn, was really dope. She has a really cool scene in it as well, too, with flowers and stuff. But yeah, it was very much enjoyable, funny. The jokes worked. The action was great, and it's rated R, so it's violent too. So you get to see a lot of the violence. And then King Shark's in there too, by Sylvester Stallone, which I didn't realize it was him until the end of the movie. And I was just he was really great in it as well too. But that's a really great movie. I highly recommend. Completely ignore the first one. Just watch this one. The first one didn't happen, but this one is really, really, really good. Moving on to number 2. This movie, I was just the trailers. I was oh, this is gonna be good. I didn't think it was gonna be this good. Where I was just whew, fire. Really dope, and it's really dope to see in a Marvel movie where it's a heavy Asian cast, and it's really dope to see them get the forefront and everything too. And hopefully we get more of these movies as well too. So this is ShangChi, and it's really, really, really dope. Simu, really dope. It's really dope in this movie. Really, really, really dope. The action scenes, because my favorite fight scene in the Marvel hand-to-hand combat, because obviously the fight scene in Endgame is just It's just like, what the, it's nuts. But like the fight scenes in this one, the hand-to-hand the hand-to-hand combat is just insane. Like one of the fight scenes in particular is where he's fighting that guy with like the dagger thing and the mask, like in the building, and they're like fighting, they're just like trading with the knife and everything was lit. But sorry, my favorite fight scene, like hand-to-hand combat, was in The Winter Soldier. It's also one of my favorite MCU movies. Is where Cap first fights Bucky. So like when he shoots Natasha and then they first fight each other. That scene is just insane. Like when Bucky's like doing the stuff with the knife and then Cap like knees him and does the back kick. But like in ShangChi, across the board, like all these fight scenes, even like the scene with where he's first really fighting on the bus and everything is just insane as well too. And I think he did a lot of his stunts, if not all, as well too. But it's a really dope movie, and I'm excited to see more and where this character can go. Because apparently too, I didn't know a lot about him in the comics, but apparently he teaches like Spider-Man how to fight properly, like martial arts and everything as well too. So I hope they get an interaction as well too, because it's been said that Tom Holland's sticking around, so for at least 3 more movies, I think it is. So yeah, hopefully they get an interaction as well too. Number 1, I just saw this very recently, and I'm very hyped still, and it might be the greatest superhero movie of all time. I have to sit a little bit, maybe watch it again to confirm, but it's definitely the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time. This is Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm not gonna say anything spoiler-wise, nothing spoiler-wise, because it just came out, so obviously I won't say anything spoiler-wise, but it's just, go watch it, and stay off TikTok if you haven't watched it, because right now my feed on TikTok is just spoilers. It's spoilers, it's spoilers, it's spoilers, but like, it's just, people are they don't care, they're spoiling it, so might as well stay off social media until you see this movie. But it is the greatest. At first it was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That was my number 1, right? And I think like Spider-Man 2, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2 was like number 2, and then maybe Far From Home number 3. Point. I gotta go through that list properly actually. This movie, it's worth it. It exceeds the hype. It's just went with like Tejas that we mentioned before, Richard, Samir, and we were, well, me and Tejas more. We're yelling, we're laughing loud, yelling loud. It is worth it. Go watch it. It's an 11 out of 10. It's so hype. I want to see it again and again and again. But it's insane how good it was. And I was just like, I'm so happy they didn't, because with that movie there's a lot of hype, and I think it's already breaking records or whatever. And they had a lot to build up to and a lot of anticipation for this movie, and they exceed it. They do it. I think like everybody I've seen that mentioned it loved it. So yeah, that's my top 5 movies for 2021. I have some honorable mentions though. So one honorable mention is Black Widow. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I like the action scenes, and it brought in Yelena, who I grew a crush on because she's just hilarious in that movie and everything. And great. And then also another honorable mention is Godzilla vs. Kong, because they did the right thing. And they did the right thing. You know how they did the right thing? They made Godzilla win. Because obviously a giant monkey can't beat a radioactive lizard. Anybody who thinks a giant monkey could beat a radioactive lizard is insane to me. I don't know how you think that. He literally breathed fire so hot that it's blue. Anybody that believes a giant monkey, they had to size him up. They had to size him up. Kong is not usually that big. And they're not even calling him King Kong because he's a bitch. I love Kong. But like, come on. It's Godzilla, bro. And spoiler alert right now, if you haven't seen the movie, stop. But spoiler alert. He got mopped up so bad. Godzilla was scratching up Kong. And Kong was like, oh no, don't scratch me, I'm a bitch. And had to be revived. He had to be revived. The humans had to revive him. Godzilla wrecked him, bro. People are gonna like, oh, it was 2-1. No, it wasn't. It was 1-0 basically, because Godzilla won the first fight, and the army had to fucking help like Kong, because they had to make him look like he wasn't there because Godzilla was gonna kill him. And they're like, oh, Kong was sedated. Whatever, bro. He had the whole army with him. And then second fight was a tie, so that canceled out. The humans said, oh, Kong won number 2. No, he didn't. They both got knocked down. That's a tie. That's a tie. If both people are knocked out, how does one person win? It's a tie. The third fight, we saw what happened. We saw Godzilla going scratch. Bitch stepped on him and said, he yelled at him and said, do you want some more? And then Kong goes, no, I don't. I'm a bitch. Fainted. Dead. Had to be revised. Had to. Godzilla never did that. Don't talk to me again. Don't talk to me again. Don't talk to me again about nothing for con, bro. Whooped. That's it. That's it on the rant. These were movies that disappointed me this year. I'm gonna start kind of nice and then get really mad. So the first one, Mortal Kombat, was just okay. Like, I just wish it was more focused on certain characters because the fight scenes were still dope. Like, one of the actors on there is in this show called Warrior that Samir put me onto, and he's fucking, like, the guy who played Sub-Zero, he's a beast. He's a beast, like a crazy martial artist. Like, there's a bunch of crazy martial artists in the movie as well too. I just didn't like, I guess spoiler alert as well for this too, I didn't like that they created a new character, because this is a brand new character that they just made up, and so he was kind of the focus, and it was just like, I'd rather focus on the people we already knew. But it's still enjoyable, but I'm just like, I feel like it could have been better. The next movie that kind of disappointed me, which I was kind of looking forward to, was Eternals. Now, Eternals is long. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's definitely above 2:30, either by 5 minutes or so. And it's just kind of like, because there's 10 heroes in that group, right? And I don't know much about them comic-wise. Like, usually for comic movies, I at least know a little something. I didn't know anything really about these guys at all. Like, this was the first time hearing their names when their movie came out. So, I like the cast. The cast is good. It was just like, it was kind of like, meh. But like, this one, I would put more so to a stinker. Like a 5, 6 out of, I guess I'm being harsher than I initially was. But this one, it was just like, it was just meh. Kinda meh. And then the biggest stinker of this year, I think might be one of the biggest stinkers from superhero movies of all time, is Venom 2, or whatever the fuck it was called. Venom Let There Be Carnage, Venom shit, that's what it should be called. Just doo-doo, Because when we went, it was me, Richard, and Tejas. I don't know how there was people laughing. I don't know how there was people enjoying these movies. Because first of all, Venom doesn't talk like that. Whatever they're doing is stupid. He doesn't talk like that. Eddie Brock doesn't talk to Venom like that. It's him talking, and he'll say, "We are Venom," right? And one of the things that I like with those storylines with the symbiotes and everything is that Cletus Cassidy is so crazy that he says "I," right? When he's Carnage, he says "I," so he knows that they're together, and it's like I'm the person, but Eddie kind of knows there's still a difference, so he says we are, like there's two coming together. So I like that kind of difference, but that movie is just, it's not funny. I may have laughed twice. It's stupid. Carnage looked cool, I guess, but it's just a dumb storyline. It's doo-doo. The end credit scene's cool. I'm not gonna spoil that, but the end credit scene's cool, but that's about it. So Venom 2 was a stinker. I don't know how people, I think I gave it a 1 out of 10. I stick by that, maybe even 0 now, because it's just garbage. I don't want to see any more, but that was the biggest stinker and the biggest disappointment and the biggest waste of an hour and a half. That was my top 5. Do you agree with my top 5? What were your top 5 movies? What were your stinkers? Make sure you smash that like button or movie that like button. That doesn't make sense. Subscribe, share, comment. Yeah, peace out.